Breaking Away sort of begins something that Friday Night Lights brings to its full conclusion. Breaking Away is a sports movie, but the sports are not deeply connected to the town. This is a bike race. There's a bike race that Breaking Away is based. There is an actual bike race that happens on the campus of Indiana University and has since the 50s. It was around long before Breaking Away and continues to this day. Bicycling happens to be something this movie picks up on, but really the story of Bloomington in this movie is in parallel with the main characters, who are working class kids having recently graduated from high school and realizing the same working class jobs that their fathers and mothers had are no longer available to them. The town that their parents grew up in doesn't exist anymore and is now a college town for people with college degrees. The sports and the town are part of the same story, but not interwoven with one another. Whereas if you look at Friday Night Lights, and of course the brilliant book Friday Night Lights is written in about 1988 and 89, published in 1990. The movie Friday Night Lights still takes place in the 1980s, even though it was made in 2004. And then
in Odessa, Texas, right?
In Odessa, Texas, yeah. Right? And then leap forward to I don't 2010, 2011 or something, when the television show comes out. That takes place in the present in a fictional place called Dillon, Texas, but it's filmed in Austin, which ironically at the time is not a poor down on its luck town at all, is in fact the great success story of modern Texas. But Friday Night Lights, the story, if you take the book, the movie, and the television show all as part of a whole, is all really about a town that places way too much investment in its high school football team because it has nothing else to be proud of. And that is a particularly American story that really began its tragic descent in the 1980s when manufacturing starts to move overseas. And in the case of Odessa, which was an oil town, was entirely tied to the oil economy. So I think that's the thing that these movies do really well, and there's the beginnings of it in sports movies from the 1980s. Definitely All the Right Moves, which is about football in a steel town in Pennsylvania, and definitely Hoosiers, which oddly enough is a movie that's set in the 1950s but has the same themes. A great moment where Barbara Hershey says to Gene Hackman, playing the main character, the basketball coach in Hoosiers, nobody comes to Hickory, Indiana unless they're running from something. All Hickory, Indiana has is this high school basketball team, and imagine the burden that places on a bunch of 17-year-olds who happen to be good at basketball. I think, and Friday Night Lights is really the example that turns that into something epic, like a Greek tragedy, where you see people's lives being ruined because they are told by all of their friends and neighbors that the best thing they will ever do will be over by the time they're 20. And it ruins them. I mean, the book, the Friday Night Lights, actually, in the later editions, catches up with the actual characters in it, and some of them made it out of Odessa and turned out okay, and most of them did not. And it's really sad, but I think the overimportance we place on sports and our the sort of emptiness at the center of our civic culture is a very American story, and I think Friday Night Lights is really the finest telling of it that I can think of.